Welcome to a new segment called Opposites. In this series, we're going to be taking two opposites, two words that have opposing definitions, and we're going to be taking their spiritual significance and unraveling it, going very deep into the premises of these words and their inherent meanings. Today, we're going to be taking a look at genuine and fake. What does genuinity look like and fakeness look like? We already spoke in one of the previous episodes that someone who is positive is genuine. Someone who is negative is fake. Those are one of the characteristics of spiritual energies. So we all have a level of fakeness and we have a level of genuinity as well, but we don't want to focus on the good, we want to focus on what we need to correct. If we keep focusing on our accomplishments, we will become satisfied. Anytime that you have a certain level or you've received a certain outcome, just know that it could always be improved. It could always be better. So as individuals, it is not our job to judge people who are fake. It's incredibly obvious whenever you're being fake. They're like a blissful aroma of fakeness that just stands out to everyone whenever you're trying too hard or whenever you're not really telling the truth or when you're being dishonest. That's their own problem that they have to solve for themselves. Our job as self-marketers, we're marketing ourselves to people whenever we meet them, whenever we meet people for the first time, our first impressions are the lasting impressions, right, that they remember from us. So we have to learn how to market ourselves properly. There's two different things. You can seem likable or you can be likable. Which one do you want to be? Do you want to seem like a likable person? Or do you want to actually exhibit those characteristics of genuinity? For that reason, you need self-improvement. You need spirituality. You need self-betterment techniques. Anytime that you're confronted by any situation in life, it's an opportunity to grow spiritually, to grow morally, to grow intellectually. There's always an opportunity for you to benefit from the situation. And it doesn't matter in what situation it is. So long as it is a negative situation that makes you uncomfortable, that makes you irritated, that makes you in a state of negative, that state of negativity is that opportunity for you to transform into positive. So anytime you're faced with an opportunity, take the opportunity. Run with it. Be happy that you have the opportunity to grow. Imagine you had your entire life sorted out. You'd be suicidal because you have everything you've ever wanted. You don't have to work for anything anymore. Because you have no more challenges to correct. You have no more tests to pass because you think that you've passed them all. This is one of the tests. When someone is negative towards you, how will you respond to that negativity? You have to be able to restrict that negativity. That's the test. That's how you can grow spiritually. But it's important to remember, restriction is the only way to grow. Restricting your negative, or your instincts, right? Because instinct is cause and effect. I do and I do and I do. That's all automatic. That is all automatic. Now the opposite of that would be choice. Choice. Free choice and instincts are polar opposites. Choices that are founded on instincts are purely instincts. They wouldn't be called choices. We have that ability. We have that ability to do free choice, to go beyond our instinct. So take advantage of that opportunity. Take advantage of this ability that was God-given, that was granted to you. So we're going to take this idea of genuinity and fakeness and extrapolate it and dissect it right now. What are the attributes of someone who is fake? What does it look like for someone to exhibit fakeness, right? So the number one point that I wrote down on my whiteboard here that I'm looking at, they are only nice when they have a hidden agenda. This is something that we see a lot from people who we haven't talked to in a long time. Let's say someone you haven't talked to in 2 years and they text you and they need help with an essay. They need help with a test, let's say. And out of nowhere, they're nice to you. They say, hey, best friend, I love you. Can you please help me? I miss you. We should hang out soon. But help me with my essay, please. Now, the reason why someone who is fake will exhibit this characteristic is because they're not nice to you in general. They're not nice to you every day. They're only nice to you whenever they have something to benefit from you. If you want to be genuine, instead of doing that, be nice and helpful most of the time to most people. It's very simple. The number two attribute of someone who is fake is they criticize others to make themselves look good. Look good in front of others, look good within their own perceptions of themselves, right? To make yourself feel good about yourself. There's different reasons why someone might do this, but they judge others for the purpose of making themselves feel good, sound good, or look good to other people. That is something that fake people will do. The reason why it's fake is because it's dependent. Your feeling good or your looking good is dependent on something that is unstable, right? You're dependent on putting this person down for the sake of you being raised. Socially, morally, or also just perspectively, right? The perspective of people on you, you want that to raise, you want it to be better. You want them to view you in a brighter light. So what you do is you put someone else down, and that somehow in other people's minds puts you on a higher ground. That is a fake thing because it's grounded on something that is unstable. It is a third party condition there. So what you can do is you can just admire others' positive attributes, or if you really want to point out their negative flaws, which is okay to do, so long as you are doing it with the intention of benefiting them. You are allowed to judge people, right? You're allowed to point out people's negative flaws. What are friends for? That's the only reason that you have friends. For me, at least, The only reason you should have friends is so they can point out your negative attributes so that you can correct them. Not so you can feel bad about it and feel guilty and feel ashamed. No, you want to point out each other's negative qualities for the purpose of getting them to realize it and acknowledge it so they can correct it. The first step in correcting your negative attributes is acknowledging it. And sometimes we're blind by our own negative attributes, so we need someone to point it out for us. A genuine friend would actually point out the negative attributes of their friends so that they can become a better person, so they can grow spiritually and go to the next level. Now, a third attribute that a fake person will exhibit is they have to try hard to make people like them. So someone who is not naturally likable will most of the time try to be likable. Attempting to be likable is already fake. Attempting to be likable, even watching this video, clicking on this video, and the topic of this video, which is how to be likable, is in a way a little bit fake. Because genuinity shouldn't have to have preparation. Genuinity is just the way that it is, right? So in some regard, this video itself is fake. Because you are going onto this video to become genuine, but the truth is, that's not genuinity. This is my opinions, and these are my ideas, and these are my pieces of advice that I've heard from other people, or that I've learned throughout the years, that I'm imposing onto you. So this isn't really genuinity at its finest, unless it is true genuinity, which genuinity only comes with humbleness, and most people are not humble. There is an audience for every type of person. There is an audience for you, specifically you. Your personality is attractable to certain types of people. That's why if you really just express your true personality and your genuine self to others, eventually you will find the correct audience to be able to be friends with. First of all, maybe that's the reason why people don't like you. Maybe because you're trying so hard to be liked that it stands out so much. Remember at the beginning we said, someone who is fake, it is very obvious. When I'm with a group of friends and I see someone bragging about something or pretending to be someone that they're not, I know, I see it. And you do too. We all do it. We all see it. We see through each other. We see it through the fakeness, right? You're increasing your ego. It's one place you are progressing, but spiritually you're going the opposite direction. Right? Ego and soul are total opposites. So if one raises, the other one will diminish. And that's what we want to do. We want to diminish the ego as much as possible and raise the soul as much as possible. A fourth attribute, they only respect people with power or a higher social status. That's very fake of you. You have to respect everyone most of the time. And I would even say all of the time. Respect everyone all of the time. But people like to say that respect has to be earned. It's a cool idea. I don't necessarily disagree with it, but I would go a little bit further. If someone is deliberately disrespectful towards you and is being rude to you and insulting to you, how unexpected would it be to respect the person back? How cool would that be if you were to be respectful to the person who is disrespectful towards you? That is a huge amount of restriction. So this idea of restriction is whenever it's most likely for you to engage in negative behavior, which in that case would be insulting the person back or being disrespectful back towards the person who's being disrespectful to you. What if you were to be respectful? That is restriction. You try to create a problem, you're not getting wrapped up in it. You're higher than that. You're better than that. Right? I would say that people's perceptions on you are important depending on what you're trying to do. If you're in the business of helping people, like if you're trying to learn how to be a helpful person in society or to your friends or help people grow spiritually or help people grow physically, first of all, anything that you want to do in life, it will always involve helping people. It will always involve helping people. This is a technique that I use all the time. View everyone as a billionaire. Everyone is a billionaire. How much respect do you have for Jeff Bezos? How much respect do you have for people who have worked their asses off and gone to become the billionaires that they are today? So let's take that idea of Jeff Bezos and match that to everyone in the world. From my perspective, I will view everyone as equally as high, socially, morally, politically, intellectually, all of the above. And most importantly, respectfully. You will be respectful towards all people, regardless of their social class, regardless of their name, regardless of their power, the amount of power that they have in society and government, does not matter. It is true that some people are on a higher social status. It's not a false thing to say. It's true that some people are more popular than others. And it's true that some people are richer than others. But the amount of respect that you have from the people should not be dictated based on what they have. Everyone should be equally respected and respectful, right? That's the most important thing to have. I think respect is one thing that we're lacking as a society. The fifth attribute of someone who is fake is they make commitments easily, but they seldom keep them. So they tell their friends, yeah, let's go out on Saturday night. Yes, let's start this business. Yes, let's study for the test this day. Yes, let's do this. Let's go hiking. Let's go to Big Bear. Let's make a trip. But they rarely actually hold up to what they say. They make plans and they flake. They make plans and they bail. And they forget. They forget. The reason why you made those commitments was because you were trying to prove to the other person that you are likable. You know, you want to be likable. You're trying to fake your likability. If you're not trying your best to live up to your promises, then you're most likely going to be exhibiting fake characteristics there. You're going to make commitments easily, and it's easy to because you like to tell people, yeah, let's do something. It makes you feel good, it makes you look good, but it is fake because it's not grounded on anything. It's not supported by anything that is self-sustaining, right? It's sustained by a condition, and that condition is that you will go out, but you're not fulfilling the condition. For that reason, it's going to collapse. That fakeness is built on something that is unstable. So you want to make sure that you're exhibiting genuinity, not fakeness. Now, the sixth characteristics of someone who is fake, they are desperate for attention. Everyone has it. Everyone has it. Unless you're an introvert, maybe you don't want the attention, right? So it's different types of people, different types of personalities. But someone who is fake doesn't really care about accomplishing anything. They just want people to look at them in a bright light. They just want people to see them as a good person. So you don't want to be an attention seeker. You have to be genuine. You have to have a true intent in the situation or in this moment of trying to actually come up with a solution or an outcome that is in the benefit of most people to grow spiritually. And if you're not doing that, all you're there for is for attention. And I did it all the time. I'll tell you so many stories. When I was in elementary school and before, even middle school and before, I was a terrible child. I was a bad boy. I was didn't listen to authority, didn't like listen to parents. I remember literally making my parents cry because I was a disaster at home. My teachers, parent-teacher conferences every single week. You'll never imagine the things I've done. It's terrible. But I was desperate for attention. Now, why that is a personal thing, right? Maybe I had troubles at home. I didn't, but I'm just saying that there's different reasons why someone might be desperate for attention, right? So if you were genuine, that attention is already there. And not only that, you don't really require the attention in the first place. So those are some attributes of someone who's genuine. You want to have the genuine. Now, the seventh attribute of someone who is a fake person is they gossip a lot. Wow, wow, wow. I cannot tell you how many times I hear this a week. People gossiping about each other. Oh, it's disgusting. It is just morbidly disgusting. Every time from now on, I'm going to make a commitment. Every time I hear someone gossiping, I am going to get up and exit the room. Because for me, personally, I get wrapped up in it too. Whenever someone's gossiping about someone, sometimes, even if I agree with them, like I will engage. And now, next thing I know, I'm gossiping too. I'm getting wrapped up into the negativity. What's the benefit of gossiping? There's only one benefit. You benefit the ego. And is that actually a benefit in the long run? No, it's not. It's not a benefit. It's a benefit to the ego. But guess what? It's a diminishment to the soul. And that's the only thing that really matters. Where is your soul level at? How spiritual are you? That's what defines who you are and the value of your life. How spiritual are you? That is what gives you the value. How spiritual are you, right? So you want to make sure, if you're gossiping, catch yourself in the moment and stop immediately. Because that's actually benefiting you. Stopping the gossip will benefit you. That's also a form of restriction. In the moment, you're expressing negativity, and in that moment, you stop and you go to positive. You transform it to positive. You're like, oh, I remember this video. I remember this point. I want to be genuine, not fake. Being genuine, it makes more sense not to gossip, because the only reason I was gossiping was because I wanted to put this person down so I am shine in a brighter light in the eyes of those who are around me, right? That's the only reason to gossip. The only reason to gossip is to put people down for the sake of raising yourself. Socially, morally, whatever it is, you want to be viewed as a better person. So for that reason, you put someone else down. So a genuine attribute is you express your opinion openly. You're not afraid to express your opinion because you know you have nothing to hide, because it's all genuine, it's all pure intended, right? Now, you might not want to express your opinion these days because some people believe that freedom of speech is under pressure right now. So it has to do with safety and personal safety and saving your reputation and stuff. In that regard, it's totally fine. You don't have to express your opinion on certain things like politics or certain policies or certain candidates for government-related positions. Maybe you don't want to express those opinions. But when it comes to everyday things, you're not afraid to point out things in life because you know that your perceptions and your beliefs are grounded on something that is self-sustaining, something that is genuine, right? It is stable. Unlike something that is fake, or is grounded on something that is not self-sustaining, on something that is unstable, right? So you're able to express your opinion openly because you have nothing to hide. Everything will check out at the end. Someone asks you, hey, what do you mean about your opinion? Can you explain? Yes, you can explain because you're not afraid to explain. You're not afraid about your opinion. So for that reason, that's a genuine thing. You have positive, pure intentions there. And you're not trying to trick anyone, you're not trying to change anyone's mind or manipulate anyone or brainwash anyone or enslave anyone's mindsets to believe a certain thing, right? It's all genuinity. Now the last fake attribute, which unfortunately a lot of people do this, is they show off all the time. They brag. they boast about something that happened to them. Now, everyone does it, and it's hard not to, because it is very rare that good things happen to us. It seems that way, at least. Whenever good things happen, it's like you feel it's so powerful whenever something good happens to you, right? So you run with that power and you tell the whole world, right? So the reason why that is fake, it's natural for people to do, but the reason why it's fake is because if you're genuine, first of all, let's start out with what's the reason why you brag, right? What's the purpose for bragging? What's the purpose for gossiping? What's the purpose for the attention? What's the purpose for criticizing others? Right? All of these negative attributes that we talked about, what's the purpose for doing any of this? It's to increase your ego. And remember how we said, any time that you benefit the ego, it's fake. It's fake value that you're adding to your life. The ego cannot self-sustain itself. The soul is the only thing that can sustain the body and make sure that you are in the right frame of mind and you're getting the right outcome and you have pure intentions and you're full of goodness, right? You don't want to be fake, negative, bad, mad, rude, nasty. You don't want to come off negatively to people. You don't want to be unlikable. You want to be liked. You want to be likable. You want to be agreeable. Not that you want to seem likable. You want to be likable. You want to be genuine. You want to genuinely be a positive person that attracts people to be around them. If you want that outcome, you have to exhibit all the genuine characteristics. So instead of showing off all the time, don't show off. Do the opposite. Because remember how we said the ego and the soul are opposite. So if something benefits the ego, the exact opposite of that thing will benefit the soul all the time. Right? So showing off benefits the ego, not showing off benefits the soul, especially when you want to show off. That's another action of restriction. When you really want to engage in negativity, you really want to brag about this new relationship that you got and you have a new boyfriend, you have a new girlfriend, you've just created a new business, you won the lottery, okay? You won the lottery. How tempted will you be to tell the world? How tempted will you be to tell everyone, look at this amazing positive thing that happened to me, oh my God, right? That is showing off. The only reason why you do that is to confirm your own egocentricity. Now, it's a spectrum. How egocentric are you, right? How that varies from person to person. How spiritual are you? It's a spectrum as well. How fake are you? It's a spectrum as well. Genuine, it's a spectrum as well, right? So it doesn't mean that you're either fake or genuine, right? You could have fake characteristics and you can have genuine characteristics. So you want to make sure that the majority of the time that you are exhibiting fakeness, catch yourself. And in that moment where you catch yourself, reflect on yourself. And after you have reflected, make the next best choice. And the next best choice would have to be the one that benefits the soul. The one that includes restricting your negative impulses, your negative desires to act selfishly or impulsively or reactively. Don't be reactive. Don't just go based off your emotions. Remember what we said at the beginning. The emotions are an indicator that can help you navigate logically. You have to act logically upon the emotions. The emotions have no logic, by the way, right? The emotions are just something that comes out of instinct, right? It's an animalistic characteristic. We are animals, so we have those emotions for a reason, right? It's to help us make the next best choice on an evolutionary level. But we could use these emotions for a spiritual advantage, okay? That spiritual advantage is every time that you exhibit any type of emotion, stay neutral. Can you do that? Is it easy to do that? It's not easy. In fact, it's the hardest thing to do in the world. The hardest thing to do as human beings is to restrict your impulse, to restrict your instinct. Because we're human beings, we're animals too. We have instincts, right? We have that fight or flight response. But something that psychology does not talk about is the third response. Fight, flight, and rationalize. What about rationalization? Freedom of choice, freedom of making the right decisions that are not solely dependent on our instincts and our animalism. We can go beyond it. We can go beyond fight or flight. That's not something that you hear about in the psychology textbooks, right? You can rationalize it on your own as well. You don't need me to tell it to you. You can make choices on your own. And I'm not talking about moving your finger. Yes, you can move your finger. That's free choice as well. But the only real free choice that if you really want to talk philosophically, the free choice that we're talking about here is your ability to go beyond your instincts, the ability to go beyond your preset mechanics, right? Evolutionary mechanics, psychological mechanics, right? Go beyond it. You have the ability to practice it. You'll love it. It's actually very fun too. I do it all the time, right? Whenever someone is negative towards me or is rude to me, I like to practice staying balanced and being respectful towards them, still being nice to them, even though I really want to slap them in the face. Okay, not really, but let's say I really want to slap them in the face or I'm going to insult them back, right? In that moment where you have that strong impulse, that strong desire to react negatively, don't. That's called restriction. That's how you grow spiritually. That's how you benefit the soul. That's how you decrease the ego. That's how you grow spiritually. And that is how you become agreeable and how you stay genuine, right? Again, we're going to go through them really quick. Fake people are only nice when they have a hidden agenda. They criticize others to make themselves look good or feel good about themselves. They have to try hard to make people like them. They only respect people with power or a higher social status. They make commitments, but seldom keep any of them. They are desperate for attention. They gossip a lot, and they show off all of the time. Someone who is genuine has the exact opposite of all those. They are nice and helpful most of the time. They admire others' positive characteristics and point out their negative characteristics for the purpose of helping them grow spiritually. They don't have to try hard to be likable, to be agreeable. They naturally are. They respect everyone most of the time. Not just people with social status highs, not just people with power. They always try their best to live up to their promises. They aren't really attention seekers because they don't really need it. And if you express your opinion openly, you're not afraid to express yourself because you know everything is founded on something that is stable and backed up by something that is supportable, that is genuine. And you're not afraid to express that to someone because there's nothing to be afraid of. And they don't brag because there's no reason to brag. So these are the things that someone who is genuine has. Make sure you're on the right side of the fence. The right side is the genuine side. Don't be on the left side. Don't be on the left. Don't be on the fake side. Left is negative. Right is positive. That's why right and right are the same word. Right direction-wise and right morally. They're the same thing. Make sure you're on the right side of the fence. Thanks guys for watching. If you have any questions, comment them or DM me or whatever you want. Privately, publicly, anything you want. Next week we'll be talking about some other subject. I don't know exactly what. It's going to be another opposites. I like doing those opposites things because something that's interesting to notice is every single word that has an opposite can be attributed to good and bad, right? Like genuinity and fakeness, they're opposites, but genuinity is positive, it's good, and fakeness is bad, it's negative, right? So everything can be attributed to good and bad. It's interesting because the tree of knowledge of good and bad, right? That's something interesting. Good and evil, the tree of knowledge, something you can attribute it to religious texts as well. So it's all, everything has to do with each other. Everything is correlated in some way. Right? Goodness and badness are something that we have to work on. Restrict your negativity, increase your positivity, especially during times of negativity, and make sure you're on the right side of the fence. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.